We continue work at UCMC. We are going to talk now about the launching of new project in Prozora and the prospects for development of this specific trend. Our guests today are Mr. Nevodov, Maxim, Deputy Minister of Economic Development and Trade in Ukraine, Alexei Sobolev, Director of Project Prozora Say, and Dmitry Senchenko, Director of Real Estate Property and Infrastructure, Ukrposhta. Maxim, you have the floor. Good afternoon. We are going to talk about the launching of the Prozora sale. The way between the sale, the purchase and sale, now the lease of the property or real estate, we try to determine or establish those tools which will enable Ukrainian municipal bodies, agencies, and communal companies to very efficiently, in a very transparent way, without any corruption, to purchase and sell their property. I really like very much what we're going to do now in the leasing area, because according to my specialization, everything actually means the necessary requirements and the concept of the broken windows, when they believe that if the real estate is used non-efficiently, it goes to the owner or the user who is not interested to invest in its improvement or to create something useful. And in parallel, there is some criminal activities. Next to bad, they borrow, and nobody would like to purchase or to buy this real estate, and everything turns into a ghetto. A well-known writer actually wrote several books on this topic, and I like that we can actually implement this, translate that into life, and to create the tools will make it turn into something opposite. I like that the criminal agents and companies will be capable of using their property and sell it when necessary, or lease it out, and find the efficient owner. That means that we are not going to have some abandoned premises. Somebody will use this to open a restaurant or a cafeteria or a shop, and actually in the result we are going to have a very nice, comfortable to live city, and to say nothing about additional funds for this public sector or eradication of corruption. Not many people know that we have million of real estate. You are talking about square meters, and to lease out such real estate is very difficult task, because the leasing rates are regulated by the state property fund. They are not flexible, and according to the norms. We are talking about some of the real estate which is very outdated or obsolete, with the old furnitures or something like that, and nobody takes that into consideration. Sometimes the public structures are leased out, and sometimes they cannot even do that. And this creates the shadow market, and we always say that we have more than 1,500 public enterprises which are on the brink of liquidation. And the question is, why for so long time? Maybe somebody doesn't want to deal with those. Maybe they let them just die out. But the idea is that on the books they have some property as a rule. If you're talking about the public enterprise, we're talking about some structures or buildings which can be leased out for cash, legal or half legally. Somebody leases it out, and the director makes him his pocket money maybe, and this creates worry by the accounting, which actually leads to a further aggravation situation where one should pay for something, because you can do that without some kind of tax payment or paying the taxes, or lease out some kind of the state owned property. So that's why I'm really happy that we made the first step toward this end, and we are happy to have our partner Ukrposhta, which is the implement Romanian pilot projects, and the one of the first public companies actually joined us in selling surplus property. I would like to immediately say that this is a very difficult topic. Some people that believe that rent out or leasing out just have to publish some ad or some photos or pictures. This is very simplified in understanding or picture, because there are a lot of different strategies that the public structures, the public companies, what they can do with their property, whether they're interested in short-term contracts or long-term agreements when they deal with the issue of improvement. Now we're going to pilot those issues, and the Ukrposhta, the public company, which wants to make money or to get some obtain some profit. So we are talking about commercial lease, but in addition to commercial lease now, there is some non-commercial one when the city would like to create the kindergarten out of the some existing infrastructure structure, and of course they cannot compete on equal terms with the boutiques or very expensive restaurants. This is a difficult story, but we hope that together with Gorposhta we'll be able to pilot those mechanisms, which will try to spread to other companies and other state-run, maybe municipal organizations as well. So we are talking about the more or less standardized terms and conditions of the lease, and how we can unify and make it comfortable, the all different real estate, comfortable for the potential owner. So once again, we would like to thank the Ukrposhta for joining this process, and for the fact that they are prepared to fight for the right result. On our hand, in our turn, we will try to demonstrate the right statistics. Once again, why all of us we need that? If all those funds which are allocated today for fighting small end corruption or some kind of the hidden cash transactions, and if we channel that money to the budget of the country, all at once this will be a win-win situation for all these taxpayers like we are. And again, those the premises which are going to be leased out, we are talking not about some specific state agency or something like that. It will be done to somebody who can do, let's say, some successful story out of these abandoned premises, and instead of just making money, they will turn for the benefit of everybody. And we are actually we are interested in making this story a real one. So thank you very much for your attention. We hope that we will achieve some fruit very soon. Thank you. The floor is given to Alexis Sobolev. Thank you. I have a short presentation regarding what this kind of Prozor sale project is dealing with. First of all, this project has been established thanks to a lot of our partners, NBU, Transparency International, which actually enables or makes everything happen. We are supported by the government of Great Britain and Germany, which make their investments into this development. Thanks, we appreciate their help. We already sold the 2.2 billion hryvnia, and this figure increase. And we are going to launch such project as leasing out the projects. Our aim is to prove that auctions for any kind of assets, they are most efficient in our country if the auction is transparent and they provide the easy access to anyone. Those are the most successful bids. You see the motor cars, the biggest supermarket Ukraine, and etc. This is something which is sold by the public-run communal enterprises who can organize auctions through the Prozoro sales. Anybody, irrespective whether it's the state or communal form of ownership, cities or the state-run enterprises, which has more than 50% of the shares of the state. Why Prozoro? The Prozoro sales. Number two, it's efficient. This will bring you more funds and will increase your competitiveness and will turn the mass media towards you, I mean, to those agencies or the enterprise which try to do that. And of course, generally, this is going to generate a lot of trust. We have a big trust through our Transparency International public sector. They can see and use the system. They can monitor the auctions which take place, and we trust them. This is very important if you want to change something, and want to win the support of the public activists or just, generally speaking, any kind of activists, in order to lease out something. You need to contact us, to visit the Prozoro.sale website, and then sign the contract with any site which is linked or tied to this website, and you can do something like the Ukrposhta does and get more money. You would like to lease something, you again visit this site Prozoro.sale and find our sites or the platforms or what it does on all those. Find some asset and then offer your bid, which is closed or hidden, and then you will become the bidder or participate in the auction, and after we determine the best offered price, we are going to declare the winners. This is actually Zosma information. I have a kind of personal aspect of the bid, which has the first bid for the lease. When I actually joined the reform, I became the volunteer, and with the minister, worked in the Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine. We had a strategic session, or the first strategic session, generally speaking, in this ministry. Infrastructure was very open, and we gathered together in the Green Bucha with the Ukrposhta. We discussed how we're going to change the Minister of Infrastructure. No longer I'm a volunteer of the Minister of Infrastructure, but our first project, the restaurant in the Green Bucha, it was, and I'm happy that was the beginning of our projects, and I hope that this is going to be a successful project. Dmitry Sinchenko, you have the floor. And thank you, distinguished colleagues. It's really not easy to be a pioneer or trailblazer, but we try to break this ice, so to say. Why become the icebreaker? Why the Ukrposhta started this? Our enterprise was formed after the Second World War and after the corporatization, which took place recently. Actually, this year we signed the act of the property transfer with the Ministry of Infrastructure. There was a project which became we can actually more freely use those. We had the highest best use, what we need in order for our needs, the demographic situation changes, and our colleagues go ahead. They are going to open new branches and the affiliations in their new cities. I'm going to demonstrate to you how our real estate portfolio looks like. The post offices, the different workshops, etc., etc. All in all, we are talking about 1,120,000 square meters, and we also lease more, this space. So first of all, we determined our strategy with our logistic experts, what we would like in the mid-term perspective, what we need for our communication with our customers and clients, and actually we determined those facilities which are not used for our direct activities, which you can lease out to somebody else. So Ukrposhta, I mentioned before, occupies 5,000, and in addition to that, we have 12.7 square meters of facilities, some kind of private companies, maybe Ukrzaliznytsia maybe has more than we do. We have 582,000 in our ownership, but territorially they are located in villages, in the countryside, in the million population strong cities and middle-sized cities, Definitely, our ownership obliges us to something. Of course, the prices are rising. We try to be efficient. Owners and corporatization helps us in doing that. So we think what we need, what are our needs, what we do not need, and we try to lease something out through the system, the Prozoro system. We studied thoroughly different mechanism how to lease out our premises and facilities, and we arrived at the conclusion that the most competitive option is the Prozoro sale platform, the best. You can see how the history of that when somebody actually addressed the state property fund and the Minister of Infrastructure, they did not object. It would take 6 to 9 months all in all. Then we had to sign the agreement of sale or the lease agreements, and to achieve the optimum lease rates. And you see that we are going to have a different picture. We're going to make announcements and publication of different printed matters in internet resources and the facilities and project proper, and the Prozoro platform at the central site of it's connected to other platforms, and the private companies, or let's say, will make their choice. We are not going to intervene with that. So we have to determine the starting price. We have our in-house provisions, what kind of price we have to talk about, and so the price, the duration of the agreement, and the average we're talking about is 3 years. But it depends on the specific facility project, depending on its technical status, the area, etc., indexation. We introduce 4 different criteria, and the typical agreement, and enterprise can sign this contract and plan the year, determine the year risks. We are going to launch today the first bid today. For 14 days, we are going to have this kind of exposition. And if only one company would like to wish to participate in this auction, we can extend this term for another week and still another week. And for example, we have some facility which we were prepared to lease out on cheap, not for a cheap price. Okay, we can step down on the price for 20%. If we cannot actually lease it out for this price, then we are going to take our bid back, or our announcement back. So we are talking about absolutely transparent situation. We do not effect on anybody. There are no kind of some kind of the close ties with anybody. Next bids will be different. We have 230,000 square meters of the areas which are not used by for our needs. So we decided that we have to provide financial services, mail and logistics, and trade services where we can do that, but not deal with the restaurant or the hotel business. So the first offer is a restaurant in the Green Bucha. We are going to lease it out, and the entrepreneurs who would like to lease it, can do that. Since we are a corporatized company, we do not receive any subsidies from the budget of the country, so we target to maximize our profit from the leasing our facilities. So back in 60s, we received 11 million hryvnia, and now our ambitious objective is to get additional profit from the lease. This exhausts my information. I'll be happy to answer your questions, if any. If I may ask you, show the offer on this site, on our website.
So here it is in the system. You can click, and 13 days until the end of deadline for application, and there is a presentation from Ukrposhta. So it looks like this, and go down. Everyone can come and use this electronic auction until the end of auction. No one will know who applied, and then we will know information about everyone who applied and about the prices, and everything will be done electronically. Please, if you have questions, ask. If there are no questions, maybe one question from me to Alexei. The information about those enterprises, those entities that will be announced soon. So, as I've mentioned, we have 230,000 and we have much more. We established what are the most attractive. In order to start the mechanism, we should educate the market, and small businessmen should see this through our system, and we will cooperate with the platforms. And now, if you have wish, you can do it. So we start several offers, several bids, restaurants, offices in big and middle-sized cities, and we will work and we will use the platforms, and we'll educate the market, and we will show that there is no manipulation, and you can register through this electronic platform. It is not difficult. Do you have questions, dear colleagues? So I would like to add, and I would like to tell you about the difficulties state bodies face. So if you are a developer in business, you have a broker, big company, DTZ Colliers, UDG, LGLL, or any other company, and you can get, and they know the market, they know your facility, they can advertise, print some advertisement in printed media, and there is some logic in it, and logic of lease is differs from the logic of sale. You know that there are anchor renters and those who rent in a different way. So this is a complicated structure, and you can also have single type shops, but it is not interesting to consumers. So if you have millions of meters of property and the quality is doubtful, so the situation is different. So state enterprises should act differently. So the potential rent, those who want to rent, they come and try to find out how to rent, and it takes 6 or 9 months to rent. And I So people should spend from 6 to 9 months to get this rent. And for example, a mobile operator want to put a tower, and this will take 6 to 10 months to get the permission, and the price will not be the market price. If you are ready to do it, you will do it in order to rent for 5 times less. Or there are some special masked gambling or illegal restaurants in the premises that do not correspond to requirements. So the problem we face is really difficult, and for state structures that want to be reformed, those who want to get additional financing, this is the opportunity they didn't have before. So if you are a mayor of a town and you want to be elected and you see that situation is terrible, and each head of the department drives Mercedes and cannot explain where he got it, and there is no registry of facilities, and there are no agreements on lease, and this rent is just continued, and everything remains the same. So would you address to the GZ or Colliers? Maybe they do not want to work with such companies or mayors, or even if they want, there will be a question of paying to them, and Ukrposhta can hire such companies, but the ministry, for example, like our ministry, we cannot pay to them, otherwise they would say that Maxim Nefedov is just paying out the money from the budget. So we want to get a decision that will overcome this problem, and we want to create real market conditions, real transparent in the market for those who lease and those who rent in the market. I would like to add, so those international companies you've mentioned, we work with them, and then I went to the Ministry of the Economy and to Director of Ukrposhta Smolensky. I told him how to work with the portfolio Ukrposhta. He said, why do you advise? Just go and work, he said. So we try to introduce these leading strategies in our sector of property, this in our company and in other state enterprise, the raw big assets that should be managed properly. So question to Dmitro Lerokitsik, Ukrinform. This year, what are the expectations? What money can be got due to lease of these facilities, and where does this money go to? So we face the situation like this, so start-up and transition situation. Before company corporatized, this is state company, and we now have a state share in our company, and 6 to 9 months, part was provided to a state property fund, and part was provided to the enterprise and was used there. And after corporatization, we were able to get additional money because 100% goes to the enterprise, but also we have taxes for these assets, and we pay 20 million of taxes on lands, and this work should be done, and other work that is done is to provide hostels and flats to local government, and this is the procedure. And also that is in our equity. We also signed trilateral agreements for the agreements that have been already signed. And last year we got 10 million, and if we did it a year ago, it would be plus 70%, so 40 million it would be. So now we are at the stage we start to conclude agreements on redirecting cash flows, and then we provide bids for rent and for lease, and we have time limitations, and we will increase 20 million this year, but time will tell. So our team is in the regional offices, and we start new functions, and we build institutional capabilities inside the company to do it differently, because previously we had a letter from a state property fund, and we provided this letter to the Ministry of Infrastructure, and now we organize it differently. Asset management, Sergei Sushko is present here. We also calculate alternative costs and cooperate with our specialists in logistics, and we establish what is needed. And then facility management, and we have also cooperation with EBRD and with the other institutions. And also we pilot this issue of leasing, and we will have other companies and state bodies to share the experience. And in several months we went along a hard way, and Prozorro changed their IT solutions, and we also established formulas to establish proper cost and to form this cost in a proper way. And also we established standard agreements, and it will be we will go up first 20 million, then 70, then 100 million. So we have a team, and we understand that you have one price in one place and one price in a different place, and there should be some so the market should decide what people want. We create basic conditions, and also we establish agreements and holidays for lease. So we should invest in company. We buy computers, we buy automobiles. We have a lot of people, 72,000 of employees for the company. We spend it for improvement of services of our consumers. Thank you. Do you have questions? If there are no, thank you.